Hey YouTube, I hope everybody is doing well today, almost the 4th, and today I want to talk about skincare. So basically, I want to start out this video talking about my skincare story. So I can remember back to being a teenager, being like 13, 14, and everybody's like, oh yeah, like when you hit puberty, you're about to get this acne. And I'm like, alright, so I remember at the time, I remember going to the store with my dad, and he's like, yeah, you got to get the Neutrogena, you got to get this soap. And I was like, alright, so I remember buying all these products, and eventually, yes, the pimples did start coming in, but what I did notice is that after using all these products, my acne never really disappeared. My acne would either become more inflamed, I would get more pimples, the pimples were getting bigger, and it became something that I became extremely self-conscious about. I had all these pimples everywhere, different sizes, and then it got to the point where they're like, my friends are like, yeah, you got a pimple, you know, you gotta pop the pimples. So I was popping the pimples, and then when I would pop the pimples, they would end up leaving like these huge marks. So I had acne on top of marks on my face, and this is something that eventually it became a lot more subtle and not as bad as when I was 13 and 14, but it probably happened, I would say, until about the age of 16. Then it calmed down again, but I was still getting pimples and I was still getting marks as well. And I was like, okay, I went through so many products. I remember trying out Proactiv, and Proactiv didn't really work like that. It dried out my skin a lot. And then all these different products, everyone's like, try this, try that, Clearasil, put some Clearasil on. And within my research, something really cool that I did discover was basically the kind of skin type that I had. So I found out that I had combination skin, and my skin would get oily really easily, and it wasn't necessarily oily and it wasn't necessarily dry, but it was in the middle. I may have dry moments and I may have oily moments. So I was like, all right. And then within the research, I started to find out different things that could affect your skin. Like something that we really don't hear about, or something that's not talked about, is the food that you put in your body and what reactions you're getting from the food. So I started to think, okay, I would pay attention to when I would eat certain foods and how my skin would overall, how it would react overall to that. So basically, I remember when I would eat bread, when I would eat bread or pasta, my skin would become very inflamed, my face would get puffy, and I would start to get the pimples. And I'm like, all right, so gluten is one thing. And then another thing was, I noticed when I would have things that were greasy, a lot of greasy foods would make my skin become very oily, like pizza, say like if someone has some really greasy french fries, and I'm like, all right, so I'm like, maybe I can have these things, but not as often as I would usually have them. So I started to balance these things out. I would have like a lot of fruits and vegetables and things like apples, grapes, blackberries, blueberries, bananas, and then I would still eat that food. And I was like, okay, I started to notice a huge change. My skin became more bright, and I was getting the pimples a lot less. So I was like, all right, let's step it up a notch. I was increasing my water intake, and this right here, and then that was also helping my skin out a lot. And then I realized that basically the skin is a reflection of what's going on inside. The skin is actually an organ that absorbs a lot. So basically, not only what you're putting on your skin is it absorbing it, but also a lot of things that are going deep through your kidneys. If your kidneys aren't able to filter something out that your body is trying to filter through your urinary tract, basically it's going to end up showing through your skin. So if you are not hydrating, if that hydration isn't circulating, you're going to see it in the skin. So I noticed that when I started drinking a lot of water, my skin is like really becoming clear, and my complexion became a lot more bright. And not bright in the term or the sense of being light, but a lot more clear, a lot more transparent. It didn't look as dull as it did before. So that's a big thing. And then also, I started to pay attention to my skincare routine, and this is something that is unique because everybody's skin is different. So what works for me may not necessarily work for you. But basically, I'm going to show you guys some of my products throughout the video. But one of the things that I do is that I cleanse twice a day. I cleanse morning and I cleanse at nighttime. And I use a light natural cleanser. And one of the main reasons as to why I use natural products is because my skin is sensitive, and if I use something that has chemicals in it, it's going to break my skin out. So I use a goat's milk cleanser, and I use that in the morning, and I'll do warm water to open up my pores, and then I'll finish off with hot water to close my pores. So I do that, and then after that I do tone. I have a rose water toner. I made this myself. And then after that, If it's early in the day, like in the morning, I'll put on a sunscreen, just a facial sunscreen. And one of the reasons as to why this is cool is because the sun is really good for you, but at the same time, too much sun for your face can actually age your face, and it can actually give you discoloration on your skin. So I use this organic sunscreen butter. It's just like you dab your finger, quick rub, takes like 30 seconds. I do that in the morning. So then taking it on to the nighttime, I will do the facial cleanser, then I'll also do toning, and then I'll also do moisturizer. I do a goat's milk moisturizer. This is something that's really important so that your skin can repair as you're sleeping throughout the night. And then at the end of the week, I'll do dry brushing. So this is like a dry facial brush. You can get this online for like $5, $8 with shipping. And this is really good to basically exfoliate a lot of the dead skin off, and you'll just go in a circular motion. And then after you're doing that, it gives your skin a chance to get rid of a lot of the dead cells that are on your face. At the same time, it is able to rejuvenate. So that's something that's really good. And basically, knowing your skin, knowing what works for you, knowing a routine that you're able to work with. And this is something that took me a while. I've probably been doing my current routine for the last 3 years. And it took me a while to figure out, okay, what works for me. And I did go through different products. It wasn't something that was extremely quick. And at the same time, being patient. Because now if I do get a pimple, and yes, I still do get pimples from time to time. You know, maybe a pimple that's on my face. Like I had a pimple last week, and I'm just like, okay, it's one pimple, you know, it's there. Accept it, deal with it. It's part of life, you know. If you're stressing about it, your skin is going to become more inflamed. It's going to react even more because the stress also triggers a response for your skin to reflect and then release those pimples and all that stuff. So if I get one, I'm okay with it, and eventually if I'm not thinking about it, it goes away and I'm like, all right, that's fine, you know. But knowing your skin routine, being patient, all these things factor in. Staying hydrated, and I'm going to give you guys some more hacks for basically doing nutritious things that reflect within your skin. So another thing is green tea. Green tea is extremely good. It's really good for your skin cells, and then the lipids and that get rid of the free radicals are really good for your skin. And then also things like pineapple juice. Pineapple juice is amazing. Anything with a high vitamin C content is really good for brightening your overall complexion, giving your skin clarity, making sure that everything is even, and then also getting rid of age spots. Excuse me. And then I would say a lot of things like I was talking about earlier, blackberries, citrines, oranges, apples, like so many fruits. Spinach is really good. It gives your skin collagen so that it's supple. There's so many different things out there, and I will give you one last tip. Do your research. There's a lot of research on the internet. We're living in the age of information, so definitely check it out. All right, you guys, please like and subscribe. Post your comment down below. Peace.